What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Quick message here about sprouting. This is one of the easiest ways, if not the easiest way, to get homegrown food into your system at a very minimal cost, and it takes hardly any effort, folks. This is the easiest thing ever to do. So we've gone over in the past how the soils have been depleted and overused and abused by big agriculture. There's hardly any minerals left in the soil, folks. The produce that you buy at the store is like a week or two old by the time you get it. It's been disconnected to its source, its vine, its whatever. So it's lost a lot of its life force. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, the water that the produce, etc., is being watered with is filled full of hexafluorosilicic acid, hydrofluorosilicic acid, pipe residues, scaling lime, inorganic compounds, chlorine, chloramines, algicides, cobalt, radioactive constituents, runoff, etc. So, I'm not telling you to never shop at the store, because obviously that's not very feasible in this modern world where we're heavily dependent on things like that, but you should strive to grow as much food as possible if you can. And if you have one of these, pretty sure you do, it's called a window with some type of a windowsill or some space by the window, you can start for less than $30 growing your own sprouts. So this is pure alfalfa, and I'm just rinsing it right now. These need about 2 more days. In fact, I like them when they're a little overgrown, so in 3 to 4 days, these will be perfect. But I started these, I think, 5 days ago. And this was like 2 teaspoons of seed. And look at how much I've already got. So bags of alfalfa are remarkably cheap, you guys, if you shop wisely. I think I have some up here I can show you in the spice cabinet. Bear with me. Maybe I don't. I have videos on this in my archive where I show you which sprouts and whatnot that I use, how I buy them. I like to buy in bulk. So what I did months and months and months ago is I invested about $110 in sprouting seeds. I have multiple pounds of seeds. And even though I use sprouts or eat sprouts regularly, I still haven't really been able to put that big of a dent in my seed collection because of how few seeds you actually need to grow such an abundance of food. So the foundation of my diet is not sprouts, but I make sure to eat them. It's one of the easiest ways to get into gardening as well. Once you start growing sprouts, you'll see how easy it is to start growing things. So, and that's really something that I think that we should strive for. Getting our hands, using them to grow things, using them to be creative, etc. So normally I rinse these with shungite water. I actually have some shungite water in the other room. I'll show you in an upcoming video how I make my shungite water to rinse my seeds and to water my plants. It's amazing how much different the health of the plants are. If you water them with shungite, it really is, there's no comparison. I've done the experiments in Virginia extensively where I've grown peppers with shungite water and without it. And the shungite peppers grew about 20% bigger and they looked healthier. They grew thicker, the stems, and the color was better. And we also in the kitchen in Virginia have almost every single plant, the avocados, the ginger, etc. They're being fed shungite water. They're being grown in shungite water aquaponically, etc. We have shungite chunks in the arrow gardens, you name it. So plants just seem to love shungite. But again, you guys, this is about 2 teaspoons of alfalfa. You take the 2 teaspoons, you put it into a cup, right? You fill the cup full of water. You let it sit for 24 hours. You rinse the water out of the cup, or you dump it out without dropping any seeds. Then you leave it on the counter for a day. And once or twice a day, you just rinse the seeds to keep them wet, and then you drain the water out. Before you know it, you'll have this. But I like to rinse my sprouts about twice a day, sometimes 3, especially as they start to grow bigger. You want to make sure you can get all the junk off of them. And you see these little seed casings. They'll come off as well. Fucking tap water, excuse me, guys. But we have a filter underneath the sink. you'll see that the seed casings come off. The seed casings are edible, nothing to worry about. But as they grow, as the seeds or as the sprouts grow, and you rinse the sprouts, the seed casings will naturally come out with the water that you use to rinse the sprouts with. So, alfalfa, I like clover, radish, fenugreek, pea sprouts, sunflower sprouts, broccoli sprouts. You know, I like buying the sandwich mixes that have 5 different sprouts in the package, and then all you have to do is follow this same system for growing alfalfa that I just explained, and you'll have a handful of homegrown food. Why not? You can get 2 to 3 bags of sprouts for less than 20 bucks on Amazon. You can go to Goodwill stores and buy mason jars. I normally use mason jars to do this, and then I have these green lids. They're called sprouting lids, and then you put the lid over the mason jar, and it's got a bunch of little perforated or holes in the lid. So what you do is you just fill your container. If it was a mason jar with a sprouting lid, you take the lid off, put the lid back on, and then you can just dump. You can actually put the mason jar upside down, and it'll completely rinse. Hope that makes sense. I'll try to remember to put links to the sprouting lids in the description box below, as well as some different seeds. But just make sure to get organic, you guys. Sprouts are really cheap nowadays, and they're very cost effective because a small little allotment of seeds will grow you a ton. It'll give you a huge return. So by the time that I prefer sprouts, again, like 3 to 4 days from now, these will be perfect. And at that point, they'll be like coming out of the container. So 2 teaspoons of seeds is going to create that much food. I put these in my homemade sushi. I make very delicious sandwiches with this. Well, I'll take some Ezekiel bread or some gluten-free bread, put some mayonnaise on it, and then take a huge handful of sprouts and make a bed of sprouts. Then I'll add a bunch of other vegetables. Then I'll put my chicken or whatever type of meat, or if you don't want to eat meat, you don't have to. For years, I ate veggie sandwiches without any meat. Just decked the fuck out with tons of vegetables, onions, lettuce, maybe a thin layer of hummus, you name it. So again, one of my missions here on this channel is to inspire people to start growing their own food, and there literally is no easier way than sprouts, you guys. So once they get to this point, they like indirect sunlight. So boom, you put it in your fucking window. I also give mine direct sunlight, but only for about 10 minutes at a time. God, son of a bitch. Apparently, I'm clumsy today. So I'm gonna have to rinse some of this down the drain. Oh well, shit happens. Luckily, I have a ton more seeds, right? So again, you guys, there's not a significant amount of calories in sprouts, but they are indeed full of micronutrients. They're full of beneficial fibers, and they're also living when you eat them. They're not raw. They are raw in a technical sense, but when you go to the store and you buy raw food, it's usually cucumbers, produce, fruit, etc. It's not actually still connected to the vine. Living food is when it's still in the growth process. So again, when you get your avocados shipped from California or Mexico to Texas, by the time you get them, they're old, they're disconnected from the vine, you name it. They're still raw, but they're not living. This is living food. It's literally still growing while you eat it. And the enzyme rate or ratio or activity in these, because they're still growing, is through the charts. So again, you guys, just start sprouting. I think that you'll get a lot from it. I think it'll open doors for you, and I really think that you'll love it. Peace out.